Let's talk about panic attacks. So on this channel, I talk a lot about my own personal experience with anxiety and panic attacks, and I even share a glimpse of how that looks for me. But I thought it would be good to have a look at some of your videos and see how you experience and cope with your panic attacks. I'm going to react to a video by Charles from the Authentic Mental Health channel, where while filming a video about his experience with anxiety, he ends up having a panic attack right there on camera. He's given me permission to use this footage to help spread awareness, so make sure to check out his channel after the video because there's some great content over there. But before we get started, I noticed that most of you watching my videos are unsubscribed. So if you enjoy my content, please consider liking this video and subscribing. It helps me out so much. So let's get started. Okay, so here's Charles and he's just introducing the reason why he's going to share this footage.
I wasn't going to show you this footage. However, after thinking about it for a couple of hours, I think the footage might actually help you guys and girls at home.
Okay, so that's I think is really important. So I also have a couple of clips where, you know, I'm showing myself basically having a panic attack, and it can feel, I don't want to say embarrassing, but yeah, it can feel embarrassing to share that or vulnerable to share that. But I think it's important to do that because there's actually millions of people that are dealing with this and have no one around them who they can relate to or feel isolated because it's not something that's shown or that you see often. So I think it's really great for Charles to share this video.
So here is the footage. So some of you might know I've been suffering from anxiety since I was 14, 15.
That breath, I don't know how to explain it, but that breath and those eyes in this moment, I can kind of just, I know a thought has come and probably some kind of symptom has come. So when we're doing these videos and we're talking a lot, the way that you speak and it interrupts your breathing, this can all kind of build up over time. And he's probably done loads of takes of this video. It's probably getting a bit stressful, and that's something that happens to me. And it can be, you can start really noticing those symptoms creeping in, and I think that's what's happening here. He's felt something, or he's had an initial thought or an initial trigger has just started.
Don't know why.
Also as well, he's talking about having anxiety from a young age and thinking back, you know, to memories or thinking back to times where he may have been particularly anxious or panicked. That could also be bringing some, you know, feelings to the surface as well. So that right there is interesting as well. You can tell that he just needs to stop, and I'd say his mind is starting to get flooded with, you know, what's going on, you know, I'm just trying to tell myself it's anxiety, or what's going on with my body. I'm starting to feel all this surge of adrenaline. And I think that this breathing that he's doing as well, this, you know, when you panic, you tend to hyperventilate, your breathing tends to speed up. And I think that he's trying to settle himself. And yeah, you can see like it's whenever I watch stuff like this, I kind of feels like I start to mirror it. I can definitely kind of feel what's going on. Let me just go back a bit as well. Okay, so that with the arms up, this is something that I always do when I'm panicking as well, is I put my arms up in the air or behind my head. It's like to gain a sense of control, to hold on to something. I don't know exactly why I do it, but I do this exact same thing. I usually actually touch my head like this with both of my hands. It's kind of to open the airways as well. When you're doing sports, you might have someone tell you like, oh, put your hands up so you allow your airways to open more. Okay. This is now hand on the chest, feeling the heart. So at this point, I believe that his heart is really, really racing, and he's doing this breathing to try and slow the heart down. Okay, so hand on the chest to, I think, to feel the heart rate. It might be feeling that his chest is tight as well, though it feels like you can't get a full breath of air in there. So that breathing is trying to kind of, okay, I need to get some air, I need to get some air. I think in this case, I would have tried my best to acknowledge that, okay, now I'm starting to affect my breathing, and I think that it's better to kind of allow that breathing to happen by itself. So if you're hyperventilating, I wouldn't try and control it as much. I would try and maybe just exhale slow, and then just try as much as I can to just let the breathing happen by itself without me trying to control it. But it's very hard in that moment, obviously, because you feel like you can't breathe and you're trying to get that breathing back on track. But just in my experience, the more I try and get my breathing back on track, the more I end up over breathing and then starting to feel dizzy and things like that. Clearing the throat, the throat always begins to feel like it's not really closing, but it feels like it's closing up. You need to grunt. Sometimes I get palpitations as well. Once my heart's racing that fast, we get, skipped heartbeats and stuff like that. And that can make me need to clear and grunt as a way to soothe that really uncomfortable feeling in the chest.
Thinking about a heart attack.
Yeah. So he said, I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. The thing is with panic attacks is those symptoms are so intense. They're so powerful. Your heart is racing. It's beating out of your chest. That feeling of adrenaline, it feels like there's a pressure. I get a pressure in my neck, my head. Sometimes I start to hear my heartbeat in my ears. And it just feels like something is completely wrong with your body. And there's so many people that go to the hospital or they call an ambulance the first time they have a panic attack because they think that they're having a heart attack, because your heart is just going crazy and you just have no idea what's going on. So this makes a lot of sense. This looks like very similar to panic attacks that I would have as well. The talking to yourself as well. I don't think he's doing that for the camera, as in I don't think he's trying to tell the camera that, oh, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think he's telling himself that. And I do the same thing when I'm panicking. I will say, I think I'm having a heart attack pretty much whether someone's there or not, or at least I'll think it. And if someone is around, I will say that. I don't know if someone is in the room or nearby with him. He could be saying it for them. But just that act of talking and saying what is happening or what feels like happening is something we do, I think, just to try and get some grasp on what's going on. Like we need to find a reason for this, because panic attacks can just come completely out of the blue. It doesn't, there's usually some kind of underlying cause or build up or trigger, but in reality, it just feels like, hey, this is coming out of nowhere. So while he may have been talking about something, or there may have been something that made him catch his breath, or he may have triggered some kind of memory that brought up these upsetting feelings, we don't always we're not consciously aware of that, and our body can just begin to react, and then we start thinking, oh, this is happening out of nowhere, what's going on? I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. Something terrible must be happening for me to feel this way, because another thing is it's very hard to believe that anxiety alone can make you feel like this. It's a strange thing, but that's also why sharing videos like this is important, because we're showing that, hey, anxiety and panic attacks are not just someone feeling scared. This is someone, their body is basically in distress. It's in fight or flight. There's real physiological things happening. Yeah, there's definitely hyperventilating going on. So the hyperventilating, I wouldn't be surprised if Charles is going to start feeling very, very dizzy, tingly. So this kind of, it's not something that's dangerous to hyperventilate. It's part of the fight or flight response, because you're trying to get as much oxygen to your muscles as possible to prepare for the perceived danger. And then the point in panic is that there is no real danger. There's only this perceived idea of danger, and then you start attaching that sense of danger to the actual fight or flight response itself, creating that cycle. So definitely, yeah, now leaning onto something. Because we start feeling, I wouldn't be surprised if in this moment he's starting to feel from all that breathing off balance or wobbly legs and stuff like that, and needing to hold on to something. When you panic and when you start feeling all these sensations, it's easy to feel like, oh, you know, what's going on with me? My balance is going. I need to hold on to something. You need to feel that firmness, right? And because it's just an unstable feeling that's going on. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I definitely think the hyperventilating is not helping.
Just breathe.
Okay, I think what Charles here is trying to do is regulate the breathing, trying to like take deep breaths. But just in my experience, I found the more I try and do those types of things when I'm panicking, the more it makes me focus on my breath, and then the more the cycle just builds. So I'm not saying that like it's necessarily wrong thing to do. It depends on what works for you or what your therapist, you know, tells you to do. But in my case, when I'm having that situation, once I notice that I'm doing that kind of breathing, I will just try and get a nice long exhale. And then just let it out, and then just let the breathing happen by itself, because I don't want to try and control it. As I'm panicking, my heart's going to be racing, and I'm going to be trying to find ways to slow it down. I used to spend so much time trying to hold my breath, breathe, and trying to get that heart to slow down or get the breathing back to normal, and it would just cause me to keep spiraling.
Just breathe. It's all right, mate. Just breathe.
So this is good, I think. Telling yourself it's all right. That's something I struggle with as well, because everything is telling you, like your body feels like it's telling you something's wrong. Your breathing feels like something's wrong. Your heart's racing. You feel dizzy, and all the alarm bells are ringing. And so him telling himself, it's all right, mate, talking to yourself is that self-soothing, regulating yourself, telling yourself, hey, it's going to be okay. The same way that someone else might come to you and say, you know, it's going to be okay. That's a really good technique. If you're feeling anxious or panicking, separate yourself in your head and say, what would I say to someone else who's panicking right now? What would I tell them? And you might say, look, you're panicking, you're hyperventilating, everything's okay. I know it feels really terrible. It feels like everything's frightening, but this is your fight or flight response. It's your body, you know, reacting as if there's a danger when there isn't one there. Stuff like that.
Slow it down. Slow it down. Come on. Come on. You're not having a heart attack. It's all right. You're not having a heart attack. Come on, mate.
So this sounds interesting. He said slow it down. So definitely his heart's racing, and he's saying slow it down, slow it down. So I can see how this can be reassuring as well. And you're not having a heart attack. It's all right. That's really good. He's definitely been through this experience before. If this was a first time panic attack, he would be calling like an ambulance or calling someone to help. But this is someone who deals, I think, regularly with panic attacks. And you can tell, you know, the way he's soothing himself, the way he's dealing with it, that he's been through this before. I think here he's starting to get some of that rationality back. So when you're in that full-blown panic, everything's telling you something's wrong and you believe it, and you're only acting on instinct, and all that logic, all those logical thoughts are just going straight through your head. They just aren't working at the moment. And I think as some time has passed, you know, he's realized he's not collapsed yet. He's saying, okay, you're not having a heart attack. You can do this. You can get through this. This has happened before. It's going to be okay, just like it is always okay.
Just breathe normally. Think normally. It's okay. There's no need to panic.
So actually, I noticed back here, he said, what did he say?
Heart attack. Come on, mate. Come on. You're not having a heart attack. It's all right. You're not... Slow it down. Slow it down. Come on.
So here he says, slow it down, slow it down. So he's talking about his heart racing. Here's a trick I learned, is that when your heart is racing, the more you try to slow it down, whether that's by doing some breathing exercise, whether that's like by mentally wanting it to slow down, the faster it gets, because with panic, what we resist persists. So the more you try and stop those feelings happening, it's like telling yourself, those feelings are bad. I don't want them. They're dangerous. Get rid of them. And then when you're scared of those feelings, your body reacts with that fear response, which is the fight or flight, which is those feelings. So it's that cycle. So whenever I tell myself, I need to slow down my heart, it ends up getting faster because I'm telling myself, this heart racing is bad. This heart racing is bad and it's going to kill me and I need to stop it. But ironically, that heart racing is the fight or flight response, which actually, if I was in a real dangerous situation, would protect me or would help me in a dangerous situation. Imagine your house is on fire, you smell smoke, you wake up. What do? You get in that fight or flight response, your heart's racing, you run around, you run out the house, get your family, get everyone out, and then you're like, how did I do that? I really just acted on instinct and I got out of there. And once you're out of the danger, those feelings subside. But in panic, your heart's racing. There's no danger around you to spot. You're looking around, what's going on? And then you realize, oh my God, my heart's racing. That's the danger. I'm going to have a heart attack. And then you say, I need to slow it down. How do I slow it down? But you can't, because that is your fear response. So a trick that I learned is to say, when you're worried about your heart racing, say, okay, speed up. And when you tell it to speed up, you're kind of subconsciously telling your brain, oh, if I wanted to speed up, then I don't need to have a fear response, which involves racing heart. So it goes down. So a lot of times when I have the racing heart, I'll say, okay, how fast can you go? Can you go 20% faster? Let's try and mentally encourage it to speed up more. And once you do that, it can actually break that cycle. And it can break that cycle quite quick if you do it early as well. Now, I'm not perfect at doing that. I don't always do it because sometimes when you get captured in that panic attack, it just takes over. But I think that is a really good technique that works for me a lot of the time.
Come on. You're not having a heart attack. It's all right. You're not having a heart attack. Come on, mate. Just breathe normally.
That's really good. You're not having a heart attack.
It's okay. There's no need to panic.
It's okay. There's no need to panic.
Come on, mate. You can do this. You've done this many times before.
Yeah, exactly. See, I said he's done it definitely many times, and he definitely has. But that's the thing. Just because you've been through those panic attacks doesn't mean another one isn't going to come. But one thing that is true is that you can get through it again, just like you always have.
It's all right. There's nothing wrong.
That breath, I think, was that was a long exhale, right? So fight or flight is the sympathetic nervous system. It's those short, sharp breathings and all this things happening. And then there's also the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest state. And your breathing is longer and more relaxed. It's all this kind of, So actually doing a long exhale like that is a way of kind of, they say, activating that parasympathetic nervous system to kind of override all that fight or flight that's going on.
Come on, mate. Pull yourself together. Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Not having a heart attack, mate. Come on. Just breathe normally.
There we go. Breathe normally, right? Yeah, okay. So the breaths, I can already feel better with the breaths getting longer, and just tell himself, breathe normally. Just let the breathing do what it does, okay? I don't need to control it. But you notice as he's getting more calm, those breaths are longer and they're not forceful as much. They're not, because before he was doing a bit of, and that, I don't think that will help. But you'll notice that these long breaths, they come out longer, and then they even pause for a bit before he breathes in again. Look at this one. See? There's a pause before the next breath. There we go. I feel much more calm. I feel much more calm now seeing this. And you can see like how the panic attack begins. It begins with that initial shock. Then you get this full-on panic and these full-on adrenaline sensations, the hyperventilation. And then as it plays out, the breathing starts going back to normal, more slow, more long. And I think he's starting to come to terms. There we go.
It's all right, man. Calm down.
It's all right. So that self-soothing, it's that confidence. You know, you've been through this before. I can do this.
So as you can see, during that episode, the panic attack, anxiety attack that I had, you can see it was quite severe. Now, the reason why I think I had this attack was because I was talking about my past and my anxiety and how it affected me. And it was really starting to worry me.
Right. So, yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. He was talking about his experience with anxiety, his past with panic, and that brought up those feelings. And what happens is we misinterpret those feelings as something dangerous going on. And sometimes, even if you know it's a panic attack, we can have this belief that, oh no, I'm having a panic attack. I'm going to lose control when I have a panic attack, or I'm going to panic myself into having a heart attack. So it's a lot more complicated than just like being scared or feeling upset. It's still triggering this physiological response. But that video reminded me a lot of myself in the ways that I would panic sometimes. And how long was that? A few minutes of panic, and they can last anything from a couple minutes to like 45 minutes, and they can be really intense. But I think overall he did some really good stuff there, trying to get through it, allowing it to happen, self-soothing, telling himself that it's going to be okay. If I had one criticism, I would say the forceful breathing. Probably, I couldn't tell if he was trying to control the breathing too much, or if that was just the hyperventilation from the panic attack. But definitely that forceful breathing probably wasn't helping too much. But overall, this was a really amazing video, and I really commend Charles for making this and sharing this moment out there, because more people need to see how this can actually affect people, and it can affect people differently as well. And it's just really important, and I just think that's a really, really fantastic thing. So I want to say a huge thank you to Charles from Authentic Mental Health for allowing me to react to this video. Was a really great video showing a real experience of a panic attack happening in real time, and a great example of some of the symptoms that happen and how he talks himself through it. So definitely go ahead, check out the Authentic Mental Health channel. There's some really, really great stuff there. And thanks again, Charles, for letting me react to this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and hit that bell icon so you can get notified of when my next video comes out. Let me know in the comments what other topics you want me to cover. I kind of enjoy doing these reacting videos, but I'll be doing all kinds of videos, maybe even some guided meditations again as well. So let me know what videos you want to see. And finally, a huge shout out to my patrons, Charlotte, Amanda, Anaiya, Sebastian, and Juliette. Your support really means a lot to me, and it helps me and the channel out so much. And by the way, if you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. The link is in the description. I really want to take YouTube more seriously and make videos more often. But unfortunately, YouTube demonetized my channel for no reason at all. They literally have given me an email saying that I can no longer run ads and stuff like that, and they gave me a reason which I'm 100% sure I didn't do, and I've contacted support so many times and they just won't let me monetize my channel, which I think is crazy, as I really love making these videos and I want to bring you really high quality videos and spend more time doing this. So YouTube, please help me out with the situation. I didn't do anything, but yeah, if you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. It helps out so much because I want to be able to deliver more high quality, better YouTube videos for you. And if anyone at YouTube is watching and can help me out, please get in touch with me, because I've contacted support so many times and there's been no solution. I didn't do anything to break the terms of service as stated. So I'll leave a link in the description of a video that loads of big creators are having the exact same problem as me, and I'm just a small creator. So please, if anyone knows anything about this issue, please help me out. But nevertheless, I'll continue making videos because I love making content that is useful for people, and I hope that you guys find it useful too. So take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.